Have you ever, thought about how your brain actually tackles a really, really complex plan?
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Well, get this. London's iconic black cab drivers,
Right.
they navigate a city with over 26,000 streets,
Wow.
all from memory.
That's incredible.
And a recent study,
Okay.
it was published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences.
Mm-hmm.
They found that they do it in a totally counterintuitive way.
It really is remarkable. Like these drivers, they don't just plot their routes street by street like you
Okay.
might expect.
Yeah.
Instead, they jump straight to the most challenging intersections.
Oh,
And they plan around those first.
okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Sure.
We're talking about those legendary London cabbies
Right.
who spend years memorizing the knowledge, right?
Exactly.
I mean, building a mental map of that entire city,
Yeah.
that's basically a real-life superpower.
It is. It's amazing. And this study sheds light on how they actually use that incredible mental map for navigation. So the researchers gave drivers starting and ending points
Mm.
and asked them to describe their route out loud.
Got it.
They carefully measured the time it took drivers to begin speaking.
So, like the pause.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That offline thinking time,
Yeah.
that's where this fascinating non-local pre-caching takes place.
So instead of getting bogged down in turn-by-turn directions right away,
Yeah,
they're identifying the trickiest spots first,
right.
almost like creating a mental framework
Exactly.
before filling in the details.
Precisely. They're not just memorizing a bunch of streets.
Right.
They're developing a deep understanding of the city's structure
Huh.
and how different areas connect.
Interesting.
It's like strategically allocating your cognitive resources.
Okay.
You tackle the most complex points first,
Uh-huh.
which then frees up mental bandwidth to navigate the simpler connections later.
That's so cool. And the study actually found evidence for this.
Yes, they did.
Wow.
The researchers also measured the time between naming each street or turn, what they called the online phase.
Got it.
What's really interesting is that they found drivers were slower to think about longer streets.
So their mental map isn't just some abstract representation.
Yeah.
It actually reflects the city's real layout,
Yeah.
with longer streets taking more mental processing time.
Exactly. And this suggests that by understanding the structure of a complex system,
Okay.
in this case the City of London, you can develop strategies for navigating it more efficiently. This is what makes expertise so fascinating.
Wow. So this isn't just about taxi drivers.
Right.
Are you telling me that studying human intuition could lead to breakthroughs in AI?
Potentially, yes.
I mean, algorithms usually plan step by step.
That's a brilliant point. And yes, the implications for AI are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine self-driving cars that can anticipate traffic bottlenecks before they occur,
Oh, wow.
or robots that can collaborate with humans more intuitively.
Okay.
Learning from this critical junctions first approach could be a key to designing AI that can better handle unpredictable situations like we encounter in the real world.
Yeah. It's a fascinating insight into how human expertise can sometimes outperform even the most sophisticated algorithms.
Right.
We often think about planning as a linear process,
Mm-hmm.
but these drivers are showing us the power of a more strategic, non-linear approach.
I'm starting to see how this connects to something like chess.
Oh, yeah.
Expert players don't just focus on the next move.
Mm.
They're thinking several steps ahead,
Uh-huh.
anticipating their opponent's strategy and planning for different possibilities.
Yeah.
Could this critical junctions first approach be linked to strategic thinking in general?
That's a great question. And there's definitely a connection between spatial reasoning,
Okay.
like we see with these drivers, and strategic thinking in other contexts.
Mm.
Research suggests this type of thinking might be transferable to complex systems like project management,
Wow.
navigating social networks, or even just organizing your day. So are you saying that instead of getting overwhelmed by all the little details, we should try to identify the most crucial elements of whatever we're tackling first?
Absolutely. By focusing on the critical junctions of your task, so to speak,
Okay.
you create a mental framework that guides your actions and helps you avoid getting bogged down.
Right.
This allows you to see the bigger picture and make more informed decisions.
This is making me rethink how I approach planning altogether.
Yeah,
I tend to get caught up in the immediate details,
right.
but I can see how taking a step back and identifying those key points could be a game changer.
Yeah.
But some people might say that this only works because London is such a unique city.
Mm.
Do you think this critical junctions approach could really translate to other situations?
That's an important point.
Yeah.
And it's something researchers are still exploring. But initial findings suggest that the strategy isn't limited to navigating physical spaces.
Okay.
It's about understanding the underlying structure of any complex system and using that knowledge to your advantage.
Okay, I'm starting to get this.
Yeah,
It's not about having all the answers right away. It's about knowing what questions to ask first.
exactly. And by identifying those key questions, those critical junctions,
Yeah.
you can then break down a complex task into more manageable pieces and approach it more strategically.
This makes me wonder about something else. We mentioned earlier that London cabbies have larger posterior hippocampi,
Right.
the brain region associated with memory.
Yes.
So is this study showing how they're using that enhanced brain region for this kind of planning?
It seems so.
Oh, wow.
It seems their brains have adapted to become super efficient navigation machines. This study isn't just revealing a fascinating cognitive strategy,
Right.
it's giving us a glimpse into how expertise shapes the brain itself.
That's incredible. So
Yeah.
their brains aren't just storing a map.
No.
They're actually wired to process spatial information in a different way.
It's a testament to the brain's remarkable plasticity. Experience can quite literally change the structure and function of our brains,
Wow.
allowing us to develop specialized skills and abilities.
This is truly mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And to think we're just scratching the surface of what we know about the brain and how it works, yeah, it makes you wonder what other hidden talents like our brains might be capable of if we challenge them in the right way.
Absolutely. This research opens up so many exciting avenues for future exploration. We could look at how expertise develops in other domains, like
Right.
music or art, and how those experts' brains might be wired differently.
It's like we're cracking the code of human intelligence,
Yeah.
one study at a time. So what does all this mean for our listeners? What's the takeaway message here?
I think the key takeaway is this expertise isn't just about what you know, it's about how you think. The London taxi drivers have shown us that there are different ways of thinking, different algorithms for success.
And that sometimes the most unconventional approach can be the most effective. Instead of getting lost in the weeds, we can learn to prioritize the critical junctions in any complex task.
Precisely, whether you're planning a project, writing a paper, or even just organizing your day, this critical junctions first approach can be a game changer.
Yeah.
It's about taking a more strategic, non-linear approach to problem solving.
I love that.
Yeah,
So it's not just about driving a cab.
right.
It's about navigating complexity itself.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm feeling pretty inspired right now.
Me too. It's a privilege to delve into these fascinating topics and share them with our listeners.
Well, that's a wrap on another deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the intriguing world of expert taxi drivers and their unique cognitive abilities. And remember, the next time you're facing a complex challenge, think like a London cabbie. Prioritize those critical junctions, create that mental framework, and don't be afraid to think outside the box.
And who knows? You might just surprise yourself with what your brain can achieve.